The Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham, Alabama is a historic landmark that played a crucial role in the industrial growth of the city. After the Civil War, the southern United States was looking to rebuild and industrialize. Birmingham, founded in 1871, was positioned ideally at the intersection of north-south and east-west railroads and near abundant deposits of iron ore, coal, and limestone, key ingredients for iron production. Colonel James Withers Sloss, a prominent Southern industrialist, recognized the potential of Birmingham's location and resources. In 1881, he founded the Sloss Furnace Company. By 1882, construction of the first blast furnace was completed, and the furnace went into blast in April of the same year. The initial operation included 2 blast furnaces capable of producing up to 240 tons of pig iron per day. This production was critical for the city's economy and helped establish Birmingham as a major industrial center. In the 1880s and 1890s, Sloss Furnaces underwent several expansions and improvements. Technological advancements were implemented to increase efficiency and output, including the installation of new equipment and the construction of additional furnaces. The success of Sloss Furnaces attracted other industries to Birmingham, contributing significantly to the city's growth and earning it the nickname the Magic City. The steel produced was used for various purposes, including construction and manufacturing. Sloss Furnaces employed a diverse workforce, including many African-American laborers who often worked under harsh and dangerous conditions. This workforce was instrumental in maintaining the operation and success of the furnaces. Sloss Furnaces continued to operate until 1971, after which it was designated a National Historic Landmark. Today, it serves as a museum and hosts various cultural events, preserving its rich industrial heritage and significance in Birmingham's history. But there is a dark side. The first recorded death at Sloss Furnaces occurred in 1887 when Richard Jowers, a laborer, fell into the large pool of water used to cool the machinery. He died from severe burns caused by the scalding water. This tragic accident marked the beginning of a series of unfortunate events and fatalities at the site. A catastrophic boiler explosion occurred in the early 1900s, causing the deaths of several workers and injuring many others. The exact number of casualties is not well documented, but the explosion highlighted the dangerous conditions under which the workers labored. In the 1920s, a gas line explosion resulted in multiple fatalities and injuries. The explosion caused significant damage to the facility and emphasized the constant threat of industrial accidents. In 1926, a worker fell to his death in an elevator shaft. This incident was one of many that involved falls from high places, which were common due to the height and complexity of the furnace structures. A worker was crushed to death in 1932 when a heavy piece of machinery fell on him. The machinery was being moved when the accident occurred, demonstrating the risks associated with handling heavy equipment. Throughout the 1940s, there were multiple instances of workers suffering severe burns from fires and molten iron. These incidents were frequent due to the high temperatures and volatile materials used in the iron production process. In the 1950s, a section of the furnace structure collapsed, resulting in several fatalities and injuries. The collapse was attributed to poor maintenance and the deteriorating condition of the facility. During the 1960s, several workers were exposed to toxic chemicals, leading to long-term health issues and fatalities. The exposure was due to inadequate safety measures and the use of hazardous materials in the production process. Falls from high places, such as furnace platforms and scaffolding, were a common cause of death and injury. Burns from molten iron, hot surfaces, and fires were frequent and often severe, leading to numerous fatalities. Boiler and gas line explosions caused significant casualties and highlighted the volatile nature of the industrial environment. Workers were often at risk of being crushed by heavy machinery and collapsing structures. Exposure to toxic chemicals without proper safety equipment led to long-term health problems and fatalities. The numerous accidents at Sloss Furnaces are a testament to the dangerous working conditions that were common in the industrial age. The site's history of fatalities and injuries has contributed to its reputation as a haunted location, with many believing that the spirits of the deceased workers continue to linger. James "Slag" Wormwood was a foreman at Sloss Furnaces during the early 1900s. He was known for being an exceptionally harsh taskmaster, pushing his workers to the brink of exhaustion. The furnaces were operational 24 hours a day, and Wormwood was notorious for making his team work grueling 12-hour shifts, often in dangerous and sweltering conditions. The working environment at Sloss Furnaces was perilous. Temperatures inside the blast furnaces could reach up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, and the workers, many of whom were unskilled laborers, faced constant threats from molten metal, toxic gases, and heavy machinery. Slag's relentless demands made the already hazardous conditions even more unbearable. In October 1906, Wormwood met a gruesome end. According to legend, he lost his footing at the top of the highest blast furnace, known as Big Alice, and plummeted into a pool of molten iron ore. His body was incinerated almost instantly. Some versions of the story suggest that his death was not an accident. Rather, disgruntled workers, pushed to their limits by his brutal regime, may have conspired to get rid of him. Following Wormwood's death, workers began reporting strange occurrences at Sloss Furnaces. These paranormal activities have persisted for over a century. Many claim to have seen a ghostly figure resembling Wormwood wandering the grounds, particularly near the site of his death. Workers and visitors have reported hearing menacing voices shouting orders or calling out their names, believed to be Wormwood continuing his supervision from beyond the grave. Some have felt an unseen presence pushing or shoving them, especially near the top of the furnaces. There are even reports of workers being aggressively pushed downstairs or off ladders. Unexplained cold spots have been experienced throughout the facility, often accompanied by a feeling of dread or being watched. One night, a watchman named Samuel Blumenthal was on duty at Sloss Furnaces. The job of a night watchman involved patrolling the premises to ensure that everything was secure and that no unauthorized individuals were on the property. So while making his rounds, Blumenthal encountered something that would haunt him for the rest of his life. According to Blumenthal's account, he was walking near the old boiler room when he was suddenly confronted by an unknown entity. This entity, described as a half-man, half-demon figure, had glowing eyes and a twisted, sinister expression. Before Blumenthal could react, the entity attacked him. Blumenthal felt searing pain as he was struck repeatedly by unseen hands. As the assault continued, Blumenthal claimed that the entity yelled at him to "Get back to work!" Despite being in a state of shock and terror, he managed to flee the scene and report the incident to his supervisors. Blumenthal's injuries were real, with noticeable bruises and burn marks on his body, lending some credibility to his otherwise unbelievable story. The story quickly spread among the workers at Sloss Furnaces, further cementing the site's reputation as a place of paranormal activity. Many believed that the entity Blumenthal encountered was the ghost of James Wormwood. The command to get back to work was consistent with Wormwood's notorious management style, where he often berated and pushed workers beyond their limits. In 1947, Sloss Furnaces was still a bustling industrial site, though it was well past its peak production years. The working conditions remained dangerous, and the site had a well-established reputation for paranormal activity. This year, however, saw one of the most mysterious and unsettling incidents in the furnace's history. One evening, 3 supervisors, Thomas Lawson, Jacob Mackey, and Clarence Rollins, were performing their usual rounds and inspections. These supervisors were responsible for ensuring that the operations ran smoothly and safely, which often required them to be in various parts of the sprawling facility. At some point during their rounds, all 3 men vanished without a trace. Initially, their absence was noticed by the workers, who expected them to check in at specific intervals. As the hours passed without any sign of the supervisors, a search was initiated. The entire facility was scoured, but there was no immediate indication of where the men had gone. The search continued into the night, and eventually the missing supervisors were found in an old boiler room, a part of the facility that had been shut down and was rarely used. The scene that awaited the searchers was horrific. All 3 supervisors were found dead under mysterious and violent circumstances. Their bodies showed signs of extreme trauma, including burns and severe injuries, though the exact cause of death for each man was not clearly determined. The manner in which the supervisors disappeared and the state of their bodies led to numerous questions and theories. There were no clear signs of how they ended up in the boiler room, nor was there an obvious explanation for their injuries. This lack of concrete evidence fueled speculation and fear among the workers. Many believed that the deaths were not natural or accidental. Given the site's history of paranormal activity, it was widely speculated that the men had encountered something supernatural. Theories ranged from vengeful spirits of past workers to the malevolent ghost of James Wormwood. Following this incident, reports of paranormal activity increased. Workers claimed to hear screams and cries for help coming from the boiler room where the bodies were found. Apparitions of the three supervisors were also reported, often seen wandering the area in a state of distress. The mysterious deaths of the supervisors heightened the sense of fear and caution among the workers at Sloss Furnaces. It reinforced the belief that the site was haunted and that the spirits of those who had suffered or died there remained restless. The disappearance and deaths of Thomas Lawson, Jacob Mackey, and Clarence Rollins remain one of the most disturbing and unexplained incidents in the history of Sloss Furnaces. The incident involving Blumenthal has been a focal point for paranormal investigators. Shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures have featured the story in their episodes, capturing EVP, electronic voice phenomena, recordings that allegedly contain the same command, "Get back to work," reinforcing the belief that Sloss Furnaces is haunted by the spirits of its past workers and foremen. The story of the Night Watchman in 1926 has become an integral part of the lore surrounding Sloss Furnaces. It serves as a testament to the harsh working conditions and the strong personalities that once dominated the site. Today, Sloss Furnaces capitalizes on its haunted reputation, offering ghost tours and events that draw visitors interested in both its industrial history and its ghostly tales. Samuel Blumenthal's encounter remains one of the most compelling stories of paranormal activity at Sloss Furnaces, contributing to the site's status as one of the most haunted places in Birmingham. The combination of historical facts and eerie legends ensures that the legacy of Sloss Furnaces continues to fascinate and frighten those who visit. Over the years, Sloss Furnaces has attracted numerous paranormal groups and investigators, each drawn by its storied history and reputation as one of the most haunted sites in the United States. TAPS, the team behind the popular television show Ghost Hunters, investigated Sloss Furnaces in the early 2000s. They reported a variety of unexplained phenomena, including disembodied voices, shadows, and cold spots. One of their most compelling pieces of evidence was an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, that seemed to capture the phrase "get back to work," attributed to the spirit of James "Slag" Wormwood. The investigation brought national attention to Sloss Furnaces, solidifying its reputation as a haunted location. The Ghost Adventures team, led by Zach Bagans, conducted an investigation at Sloss Furnaces. They experienced numerous strange occurrences, including physical sensations of being pushed, hearing unexplained noises, and capturing several EVPs. One of the most notable claims was seeing a dark shadow figure, which they believed could be the spirit of Slag Wormwood. Their episode highlighted the dangerous working conditions and tragic history of the site, contributing to the haunted lore of Sloss Furnaces. The Tennessee Wraith Chasers, TWC from Ghost Asylum, visited Sloss Furnaces to investigate. The team used various paranormal investigation tools and techniques, capturing EVPs and experiencing equipment malfunctions often associated with paranormal activity. They also reported seeing shadow figures and feeling an oppressive atmosphere in certain areas of the furnaces. The investigation reinforced the idea that Sloss Furnaces is a hotspot for paranormal activity and drew further attention from the paranormal community. The Haunted History series on the History Channel featured Sloss Furnaces, focusing on its haunted past and the numerous reports of ghostly activity. This investigation took a historical approach, combining documented accidents and deaths with eyewitness accounts of paranormal experiences. They highlighted the story of James "Slag" Wormwood and the Night Watchman's encounter. The show provided a comprehensive overview of the site's history and hauntings, attracting history buffs and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Various local paranormal groups from Alabama and surrounding states have conducted investigations at Sloss Furnaces over the years. These groups have reported a range of paranormal phenomena, including EVPs, apparitions, and physical interactions such as being touched or pushed. Many of their findings are consistent with those of the more prominent paranormal investigation teams. The continuous flow of local investigations keeps the stories and legends of Sloss Furnaces alive within the community, maintaining its status as a haunted landmark. Almost all paranormal groups reported capturing EVPs. Common phrases include orders like "get back to work" and sounds of machinery, which align with the history of the site. Multiple groups have claimed to see shadow figures and full-bodied apparitions. These sightings are often attributed to former workers or the infamous slag wormwood. Investigators frequently report feeling physical sensations such as being pushed, touched, or experiencing sudden drops in temperature. Many teams noted that their equipment often malfunctioned or drained of power inexplicably, a common occurrence in alleged paranormal hotspots. The repeated visits by various paranormal groups have significantly contributed to the legend of Sloss Furnaces as one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Each investigation adds to the body of evidence suggesting that the site is rife with paranormal activity. These investigations have also brought substantial media attention, drawing both tourists and paranormal enthusiasts to Sloss Furnaces. The site's management has embraced this haunted legacy, offering ghost tours, paranormal events, and Halloween attractions that highlight its eerie history and the findings of these investigations. This blend of historical education and paranormal intrigue ensures that Sloss Furnaces remains a fascinating and mysterious destination. So do you believe Sloss is truly haunted? If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.